Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Sierra from Sierra2 Designs and today I have these really cool mini slimline cards to share with you guys. So let's jump right in. So to start, as always, I like to cut down my cardstock. So the slimline cards, the mini slimline cards that I'm creating are going to be cut down 6 by 6 and then scored at the 3-inch mark. So they're going to be 3 inches by 6 inches. I am going to make 2 as you saw from the picture, so you're going to see me do pretty much everything twice. So I just had a full sheet of cardstock there, and then I'm going to cut down another 6 by 6 inch square. And then I'm going to bring in some black cardstock because you guys know I like to matte most of my things. And I cut it to be 1/4 of an inch smaller than the 3-inch mark. And I'm going to bring in a piece of, I believe it's Neenah Solar White for my blending panel that's going to go on top of. And I kind of had to check my measurements a few times. This is the first time that I've made a mini slimline card. So I do double check my measurements here a few times just to kind of make sure that they're actually correct. And then you can see here, like, I'm just using scraps of cardstock as well. And I'm kind of trying to measure it out to see how long it actually is. I don't know why I made that one so long. I thought I could get 2 pieces out of it. And I could have had I made it a bit longer than I did. But so you're going to see me kind of jump back and forth here a little bit between the measurements. But it is 6 inches by 3 inches. And then the panels are 1/4 of an inch smaller than each layer. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, please ask me some questions, guys. I'm always happy to answer them. And then I bring in my score buddy and I score down the center at the 3-inch mark there. And I scored it on both sides just to make the crease like a little bit easier. This is a heavyweight cardstock, and I find that's easier for me when I don't want it to crack, which I mean I never do, but if you have a heavyweight cardstock, score it on both sides. It's less likely to crack because you've broken the fibers on both sides. And then yeah, we're gonna jump right into picking our ink blending foams. So I haven't shown you guys this in a while. This is actually a domed foam holder that I created. I have a whole video on how I made it and all of the stuff to download it if you ever want to make your own. So I'll have that linked and listed down below, and I'll have it in the card up the top. So I'm going to go straight into my ink blending. So for the first one here, I'm going to use Kitsch Flamingo, Peacock Feathers, and Cracked Pistachio. And I kind of eyeball where the 3rd mark is, because I'm doing like thirds each color. So there's no, I mean, I guesstimate at a lot of things when I create. You could, of course, like measure it out and mark it and have it be more accurate than mine is, but I don't really mind. I kind of just eyeball a lot of things, and I find that they turn out pretty good most of the time, so I kind of keep going with that. And I do love this Kitsch Flamingo. So in both card samples, I'm going to show you Kitsch Flamingo as a part of the blend. Just because, sorry, I just dropped my pen. Just because I think it's a very versatile color. I love the pink. I think it's stunning, and I think that it could blend beautifully with so many different colors. So I am going to show it to you in both of these examples. I also did a card with it recently on my channel that everybody seemed to really like, so I brought the pink blends back just because I think they're stunning, and I think that they really lent themselves well to this style of card. Have you guys made a mini slimline card yet? This is my first attempt at a mini slimline card, so I'm a little new to them, but this was a lot of fun, so there's going to be more on my channel for sure. So for the second set of blending, I am using Spun Sugar, Kitsch Flamingo again in the center, and then I'm going to finish it off with Picked Raspberry. So I don't really think that there's a lot of tips and tricks to blending. I think one of my biggest tips would be if you're struggling with the flat foams, try the domed foams. I have a tendency towards domed foams. Scrapbook.com has them. Ranger now has them. I haven't tried Rangers, but I have a plan on it because I love them. So I love domed foams. I really want to try theirs out. But if you're having a really hard time with the flat foams from Ranger, definitely give the domed foams a try. I do find that it makes it a bit easier when you're new to blending or if you're struggling with blending. I don't have much experience with blending brushes, so I can't really speak to those, but definitely domed foams have been a big help in my blending journey. So definitely try that, or try a smoother cardstock. That's another tip that tends to work, I find. So we're going to flick on some Perfect Pearls here. I just have it mixed up in a mini mister bottle. and I just pull the lid off and flick it onto the back, just as much as I want on there. There's no right or wrong amount for this, and you could flick white as well, or you could have flicked a couple of different colors if that's what you wanted to do. I'm just going to do this sparkly perfect pearls. I think it looked stunning on these backgrounds. And I love shine and shimmer, so it's just kind of my thing. And I have 3 of the butterfly stamps from the Simon Says Stamp Beautiful Butterflies. I have the stamp set and the dies, and I have a piece of heavy vellum here. This is a 40-pound vellum by Bazzill. And everything that I use is always listed and linked down below if you guys are ever curious. And if you ever have any questions, please ask. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have, or like, I want this to be a conversation. So please feel free to send me messages on here, or you can shoot me an email, or check out my blog and write me a message there, whatever works. So I did stamp them out in Versamark ink, and then you can see that I dropped my embossing powder all over the place there. That's okay, I just cleaned it up with a paintbrush. But I'm sprinkling on, this is Wow embossing powders. I believe it's Sparkling Snow. It's a white embossing powder with beautiful flecks of glitter in it, and it's just stunning. You can't pick it up great on the camera, sadly, but in person it is so pretty. And I just really wanted that little bit of extra glitter in the butterfly wings. So that is what I did there. And I did preheat my heat tool before I brought it to my vellum. You want to be careful with vellum. This is a heavyweight vellum, so at least it can take heat pretty well, but you still want to be careful not to melt it. And then here you can see that I've just used my dies, and I've got the scrapbook.com magic mat here. And excuse my cat, she kind of gets in the way there. And I've been working on my preferred sandwich to work with the magic mat. I'm still trying it out. I've only used it a few times. So if you guys want my opinions on that, let me know, and I can do a video about what I think of the magic mat, but let me know. And then I have the same 3 butterflies still in a row there, and I'm just going to stamp them on the inside of the card bases. And I used Kitsch Flamingo for this as well. I am so insanely in love with this color. I am so excited to see what the next new color is. I believe it's going to probably be announced May 1st if it goes based on how it's been announced so far. But you could have left the base open. I folded it back on itself just because I already had the butterflies in the Misti from when I stamped them on the vellum, and then just lined it up to stamp on the inside there. But you could have actually not folded it in like that and just had it stamped on the background. I am also going to bring in the Happy Anniversary stamp. This is from Simon Says Stamps You Have My Heart stamp set. And I'm just going to add that Happy Anniversary on the inside of the cards there, on both of them, on both of the bases. And there you can kind of see that's just where I was going with that. I think they turned out really pretty. I'd love to know what you guys think when you get to the end here. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of frame on this. I would love to know what you think of how these cards came together when we get there. I think that they're really pretty. Do you guys like mini slimlines? Do you prefer the big slimline? I'd love to know. So I did bring in some Nuvo Deluxe glue, and I am just going to put it in the center of the butterfly because I want the wings to be able to pop up. So I am going to bring in an acrylic block to hold it down as well. I was a little concerned that the vellum might not stick well, so I brought the block in to kind of force it to stick so that it couldn't move while I was waiting for it to dry. And I'm going to bring that block in on all of them. This is an added step. I don't think that it had any issues adhering, but because I was concerned, I just brought it in just as an extra measure. I did put a little extra glue on the center butterfly because its wings won't be raised, as I'm going to stick the sentiment over top of it, but it's still not all the way out to the outside. The sentiment, however, is going to hold it down, so you're not going to get much movement on the wings, but I'm okay with it. And again, I eyeballed this. I'm not even totally sure that they're straight. They look straight to my naked eye, but yeah, you could absolutely bring in a ruler and kind of measure this up and make sure they're actually centered. I didn't. I don't mind. I love the imperfections in cards. I think that they can be quite beautiful, and I think that aiming for perfection is a little bit daunting. So I have a tendency more towards just eyeballing things and being content in how it turns out, because you can pretty much fix almost anything. So I kind of like to play with those imperfections. And I did use some Darice foam strips here just to adhere down the sentiment in the center. And I've done that the exact same on the other card panel. I'm just going to show it to you on this one, but we're doing the exact same steps here. And then I brought in my Nuvo Deluxe glue so that I could adhere this panel down to my black matte, because I think that the black matte really makes it pop. Those blended colors, I find that that really helps them stand out against that white background, because the card base is white. So I find that this kind of just helps them stand out. It also ties in the fact that I've used these sentiment strips. So these sentiment strips are from Simon Says Stamp. I have them linked and listed down below, and they're like, they're specific for anniversaries. As you guys know, if you've been following me for a little bit, I had an order for 10 custom anniversary cards. So these, I'm almost done. This is, I believe, 7 and 8 of my custom orders. So I have 2 more to go that I need to make. And I've been kind of racking my brain for different ways to make cards that would be beautiful for anniversaries. So these are the 2 that I kind of came up with for this week. I have 2 more that I need to come up with, and then we'll move on to doing like birthday cards and stuff. So I am going to make matching envelopes. So if you can see here, I have my 1, 2, 3 envelope punch. You can see there a 3x6 card needs to be cut. The envelope, the paper for the envelope needs to be cut to 7 5/8, and it's going to be punched at 2 3/4. So this is a Steel Diamonds paper. It's by Tonic, I believe. I'm not even sure if they have it anymore. If they do, I'll have it linked and listed down below. And I'm just going to create my own envelopes. So I've got the cardstock cut down to 5 7/8, which is like square, and then you're going to punch at the 2 3/4. So I find that sometimes if I have a trouble feeling it in the groove there, I'll put it back in and I'll re-score it again a little bit deeper than I did the first time. And then when I go and slide it, I can kind of feel it hit the groove, and then I keep going. I don't know if that really makes sense. If it doesn't, tell me, and I can make a more in-depth video of using this punch board to make your envelopes. But you just keep turning it, matching up the score line, and then punching the top, and that creates the divot in your envelopes. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, I think, but if it's not, and if you kind of get confused by what I'm doing there, please let me know, guys, and we can do a more in-depth look at this. And then we're going to fold over the edges just to create those creases in the envelope. And I am also going to round the corners. The We Are Memory Keepers 1, 2, 3 punch board there, envelope punch board there, has this like rounder, so I actually like to round the corners. I find that I just like the look better. You could leave them squared, it wouldn't really matter. In this case though, I found that the rounded edge did better with the envelope closed. And I've got some 1/4 inch score tape here, and I'm just going to add it to the tabs on both sides. I tend to only put it on the flaps that I'm going to adhere to the bottom of a card, just because I find you're not going to stick it shut that way. So that's just how I like to do it. You could use liquid glue. I don't tend to on envelopes. I just find that it kind of gets everywhere, and I don't want to accidentally seal my envelope closed in places I don't want it closed. But that's just kind of what I like to do. And then I'll usually add the same 1/4 inch score tape on the top, and then that's kind of how I like to do my envelopes. So this is a look at the cards here. I'd love to know what you guys think. I'd love if you'd consider subscribing if you're new here. I put out a new video every Monday, and then I join in on fun hops and other things throughout the month. So these are the cards I have for you. Please leave me a like, leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys again soon. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.